When you think of billion-dollar food empires, names like McDonald's or KFC often come to mind. But in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, one name has redefined fast food culture: AlBaik. This is the story of how a single fried chicken shop, started in the sands of Saudi Arabia, became not just a culinary sensation, but a force that shaped the very economy, urban landscape, and identity of a nation. In 1974, the city of Jeddah was changing. Oil money was transforming Saudi Arabia, and with it came a hunger for something new, something fast, convenient, and flavorful. But in the midst of this transformation, one man, Shakur Abu Ghazala, a Palestinian immigrant, saw a gap no one else did. He wasn't born into wealth or power. He was an ordinary man with a simple dream: to bring affordable, high-quality fried chicken to the people of Saudi Arabia. And that dream began in a small 25-seat restaurant on Al Shafei Street in Jeddah.
The idea was new broast chicken, a pressure-fried recipe he licensed from an American company. But convincing people to try it, that was the hard part. In the 1970s, Saudis didn't trust fast food. Imported chicken, frying machines, and foreign recipes, they all seemed strange. Days would pass without a single customer. Shakur would often sit by the window, watching people walk past his restaurant. And just when the business began showing promise, tragedy struck. In 1976, Shakur Abu Ghazala passed away suddenly, leaving behind his wife and 2 young sons. The dream seemed over.
But Shakur's wife and his teenage sons refused to give up. His eldest son, Rami Abu Ghazala, was only 18 years old, barely an adult, yet suddenly responsible for his father's struggling business, the family's only source of income, and the weight of a legacy that had just begun. He didn't have an MBA, he didn't have experience, he didn't even have a mentor to guide him. All he had were his father's handwritten notes, a few scattered recipes, and a small notebook filled with his dad's dreams, written in careful Arabic script. And at the very top of that notebook, a single word stood out, circled in red ink: AlBaik, Arabic for the noble. Rami and his brothers didn't yet realize it, but that simple word, AlBaik, would one day transcend the walls of their tiny fried chicken shop. It would become a national symbol, an emblem of Saudi pride, and a billion-dollar brand that touched millions of lives. But back then, it was just a dream.
By the 1980s, AlBaik began to find its rhythm. What once started as a small family struggle was now slowly turning into a quiet revolution in Saudi Arabia's food culture. Testing, tasting, adjusting. Each batch brought them closer to perfection. And finally, they found it. A recipe so unique, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, seasoned with a secret blend of 18 herbs and spices. A formula known only to the Abu Ghazala family, guarded like a royal treasure. The first bite was magic. It wasn't just fried chicken anymore. It was an experience. There were no billboards, no flashy TV ads, just stories passed from one friend to another, from one family dinner to the next, until AlBaik became a name everyone in the city knew. Not as a brand, but as a memory. For many, AlBaik wasn't just food anymore, it was a feeling. The smell of home on a Friday afternoon, the taste of joy shared with friends after prayer, the comfort of something familiar in a changing world. AlBaik had found its soul, and Saudi Arabia had found its favorite flavor.
For decades, AlBaik stayed rooted in the western region of Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, Makkah, and Medina. It was a local legend, a taste travelers could only dream about once they left the coast. That exclusivity gave AlBaik an almost mythical status. In the eastern cities and in Riyadh, people spoke of it like a secret. Friends returning from Jeddah didn't just bring back gifts. They brought boxes of AlBaik, still warm, filling cars and flights with that unmistakable aroma.
In 2020, after 46 long years, the expansion era finally began. AlBaik arrived in Riyadh. And the response? Unbelievable. Crowds formed outside before sunrise. Queues stretched for kilometers. Cars jammed streets. People waited for hours.
From a tiny shop in 1974 to hundreds of outlets today, AlBaik stands as more than a fast food brand. It represents resilience. It represents family legacy. It represents the idea that a local dream can become a national treasure. And even now, Rami Abu Ghazala continues to lead with the same humility his father began with, focusing on quality, affordability, and community. The story of AlBaik isn't just about fried chicken. It's about faith in family, in persistence, and in the power of starting small. Because sometimes, the simplest dream can change a nation. From one man's dream in Jeddah to a billion-dollar legacy, AlBaik proves that greatness isn't born in boardrooms. It's cooked, seasoned, and served with heart.